Okay, so now we're going to start looking at how you can actually look at student responses and be able to grade things and basically use these forms to your advantage. So I'm going to look at, I'm going to look at this one because I need to grade it anyway. So Algebra 2 quadratic summative, I had a couple of students who knew they were going to be absent, so I gave them this as an option to complete. Basically, you click on the form that you've already made, and you will click on where it says responses up here at the top. It tells me how many responses I have so far, what the average score is based on the auto grading, and the fact that students are no longer able to access it right now. And I know this because it says closed. If it says open, that means students can still continue to submit responses. As I scroll down, I can see basically the different responses from students. So if it's a multiple choice, I can see like what percentage of students selected what particular answer. So I can go, wow, students really know how to do number 3. They know what the axis of symmetry is. But when I look at number 4, it's like, okay, it looks like only half the class, only 2 of them, only half the class were able to answer that correctly. Same thing with this question and so on. So it does give you a nice overall class breakdown as to whether or not students are getting the responses correct. It'll give you the percentage of correct responses, etc. Now the overall class data breakdown is probably not what you care about so much when you need to enter grades. So there are 2 ways you can look at the individual students. One option is to download the information. So if you click on where it says open in Excel, what will happen is it will download an Excel sheet that you can open on your computer. And basically it will show you when the students started the test exactly, when they finished the test exactly, how many points they got, and then it'll show you the different answers that they typed in and how many points they were awarded for each answer. So that is one option for you. I personally don't like this for grading itself because it can be a little bit confusing looking at it, like remembering which question was which. But this is good for like just like I really only use it to see how like when exactly students are starting and stopping. So if I think kids are probably cheating, like I can see like if their times are matching up too much or other things like that. Um, the other way you can check is if you go to where it says review answers, you click on that, and it will let you scroll through each and every student. So right here where it says respondent 0, that's the first student who actually submits a response. The arrow to the right will let you go to the next student. The arrow to the left will let you go to the previous student. You can also click on this and then click on the respondent. Now this isn't so useful since we don't have Microsoft accounts for our students set up right now, but if you did, you could actually find the specific student and click on them. So it can save you time if we had those accounts set up. It also shows you how long that student took to complete the assignment. So this student took 99 minutes and 35 seconds. You can see for each one how long it takes them. As it shows you their point totals as well. And another option is if you click on the 3 buttons here, let's say a student had a computer issue, they had to start it all over again, and you have a partial response form, you can delete the one that is not going to be graded and entered. You can also print the response. So for instance, if you want to do a dirt day when we return, or if you want to be able to do some kind of activity with the student responses, you can print the actual responses that the student gave you and then do the activity that you want with that. It looks something like this when you print. Sometimes the questions and answers can be split up, which can be a little annoying, but it looks like on this one it did a pretty good job about printing it in a way that actually makes sense when you read it. Um, Another option here is post scores. That's not going to be relevant to us because we don't really use the Microsoft Office suite for like actual grading. So when you go down here, you can see like there's a little box with points and then it says how many it's out of. So let's say you were doing a question where they had to type their answer in. So this is a great example here on numbers 9 and 10. My student wrote upwards. The correct answer is up. Well, that's the same thing. So I'm going to click on where it says 0. I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to put a 1. So I fixed it so that now they got the point for it. It's still going to show the little X in red, but I will have awarded the points. Same thing here, minimum vertex, minimum, same thing. Downwards, down, same thing. So like I said, you have to check because the auto grading where they type in responses will often mark them wrong for things where maybe they were right, it's just they typed it in differently than you did. Same thing, y-intercept. I put a hyphen, they did not, they're right. So we're changing the point to reflect that they got it correct. X-intercept, same deal, that's a correct answer, so we're going to change that and give them the right answer. And so you just go through, and anything that they had to actually type something in, then you can do that. The other thing, that's definitely wrong. The other thing is, let's say you have a select all that apply question. I think I had one somewhere on this. I don't remember if I did. Okay, I didn't. But let's say you have a select all that apply question. The computer is going to do an all or nothing with the points. So let's say they picked one of the correct answers, but not the other, and you had 2 correct answers. You can decide you're going to give them one of the 2 points. So you can go in and again, just type in the box and give them the point. Now, if you go over, it's going to say extra credit. So, it kind of gives you that little warning, I guess, in a way, if you are giving them extra points if you want. Once you're done actually editing and all that with the point values, it will automatically update the points total up at the top. So earlier it was 4 points less. It was like 19 out of 53. I still have to check the remainder of the documents. They might not actually have the score, but you'll notice that it did automatically update the point total for me. Another thing is you'll notice that they have all these little comment boxes next to each and every question. So let's go find a wrong answer. Let's see. Okay, here. They picked the quadratic formula instead of the axis of symmetry formula. So what I can do here is I can say, you chose the correct formula or the correct equation for the quadratic formula. The axis of symmetry is something else. And so if you decide to print the response, it will show the comment on there. It will show the comment already generated on there for the student. Let's find that question. So you can see right here, I put the comment on there for feedback. So if you print the response and you do some sort of dirt day or something like that, it gives you that extra feedback. So that is a nice feature that you can use. So as far as like actually providing feedback and totaling points and everything, that's all you would need to do. And you can go through each and every student question, just like you would with a regular test. You can also look at individual questions. You can see for each and every question how all the students in the class responded. So let's say you're the kind of person that you like to grade page by page usually when you're using paper. So you can grade question by question for everyone to help yourself grade fairly. So let's look for one where they have to type in a response. Okay, so these students both had the right thing. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so here. Earlier, I had already corrected for one of the students. It says maximum vertex. I knew the answer is supposed to be maximum for this question. This student also put maximum point. pretty much correct, so I'll go ahead and change that for them. So that can also help streamline so that you can grade each and every question faster. And this is something you could use like once the entire class is submitted, or at least once a lot of the students in the class have submitted. If you want to go back to the main page, you just hit the back button, and that's it. Also with responses, let's say you're already in there. It's being a little bit slow. Okay, and you go to review answers. Let's say you want to go to the next formative, then, oh, the review next will just bring you down the document faster. All right, so that would be the last thing that you would need to know as far as being able to grade and provide students with feedback on these forms. The last thing is I'll do a short video on how to organize these forms and make it a little bit easier on yourself to be able to find them in the Microsoft Forms.